like my hero's journey, I think started. I think it just now started at 31.
Did you return with the elixir yet?
I have not returned with the elixir. I've drank a lot of weird shit.
So you haven't found it?
I haven't found it. I haven't gone through.
Do you have a mentor? That's step 4.
I did.
Yeah.
Do you really know the hero's journey that well?
I went to film school.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Yeah. We have Joseph Campbell on the podcast today, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't remember it that well, though.
What actor are we in right now? In life, what actor are you in? If it's a 3-act structure, what?
Dude, I haven't even gone through the fucking door yet.
You're just now getting started. You're just like...
It's just rolling credits for Dan still. Like getting through the title sequence.
Right, dude. We're getting through, like, the editor. We're not even at director yet.
Yeah, casting agent hasn't been said. Yeah, the plot's not there.
Right.
For Dan.
Right, hasn't been written.
Like, I want to add
Are we recording this?
We're live, dude.
Oh, okay.
I love every time I have the Grandex guys on, we just like start recording, and they're like, oh hey, but inevitably about a minute in, they're like, hey, are we live? Dude, I recorded one of my first shows with my buddy Jeremy Hills and AJ Williams, and we were talking about J. Cole, and in the first like 10 minutes of the podcast, we were talking about how I asked them as we started the show, who's the best hip hop artist of our time right now, and we kind of all came to the consensus that it was kind of in between J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar for us. In our place, this is about a year ago. Yeah. I know there's more things to be said.
I like J. Cole, man.
But we started talking about that song "Wet Dreams" and how J. Cole really does a great job of telling a story. And then before they even knew we were recording, we had all three of us talked about how we had lost our virginities.
Yeah, he's very good at telling a story about this girl that passed him up in high school.
Definitely, that is J. Cole's MO.
Yeah,
it's like no one believed in me. No one, especially her. Like, especially her.
Fuck you, Lucy.
I feel like everybody has that girl though that's like putting the chip on their shoulder. The first one, guys, anyways.
Oh,
mostly.
Definitely.
Dude, my whole life is a chip on my shoulder.
I know. Yeah. But you're doing a great job.
That's true. We've discussed this. Like
you're out here doing it. You got a podcast going on. You're doing things.
I've overcome my expectations.
Yeah.
Like everything's downhill from me. Or like I'm playing with house money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, tell everyone where you set the bar.
On the ground. Yeah.
So Dan sets the bar on the ground, so it's easier to step over. That's really what it is.
Come from a blue collar, like Philadelphia family.
Staying right in that comfort zone.
Nothing's really expected. No one leaves town.
Yeah.
I'm expected to like work a union job.
Dude,
fuck that.
Nice. I would take a union job. Union jobs pay, bro.
Dude, you don't get fired.
That's right.
My dad still has a flip phone, but he's got hella benefits.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I hated going off his insurance when I turned 26.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because our insurance is good and all, but it's not water company insurance.
It's not union insurance. Nah. It's Texas at-will employment insurance,
right.
Man. Yeah.
Dude, I was paying like $5 copays for everything. It was awesome.
Yeah. No, my I don't have insurance and it sucks.
I can't do that.
Is that
half the reason I need a job is I need insurance because I have Crohn's disease.
Yeah, I mean, I
really
see that being important for sure.
Otherwise, I'm just shitting on the like I won't be able to live. I'll just be on the toilet.
Really?
Every other day. Or that's not every other day. I'd be on the toilet for like 50 times a day.
Damn, that 15 times?
50.
50. Oh.
Like the worst I've ever been. I was going to the bathroom like every 15 minutes.
Jeez.
Wow, dude.
For twosies?
Dude, I was shitting blood. Like, even if I didn't have anything in my stomach, yeah.
Okay.
It's just like your stomach's just digesting itself, basically?
When I first got it, I went from like 185 to 135 in a month.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying.
So I've fluctuated so much weight.
How do you get that? Like, where does that come from?
Genetics. Just shit genetics from white people.
Oh, no, dude.
Is there like a diet or something that you can like follow to a T or something?
Well, I'm in remission now. So the medicine works. So I can eat whatever I want, but...
Oh. Wait, it can come and go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah.
So I was good. I got it when I was 17, and then I fixed it when I was like 18 and a half, and then I was good till I was about 26, and then it came back. And then this was like all when we all got like let go from Grandex.
Oh, yeah.
So like between not having a job and like it's stress related too.
Sure.
So it came back with like vengeance, and it was terrible.
Damn, dude.
But I figured it out and back in remission.
That's right.
Never been better.
Dude, just big wins.
Always winning. I like that. Well, dude, one thing we talked about just now, just touched on, is we're all in a time of our life. Jake's about to get married. Got a year, like a little less than a year away.
Yeah, 363 days.
Damn, so close.
Because Friday was like 1 year exactly. So,
There you
Friday
go.
was like 1 year exactly. So yeah, 363, man. It's crazy thinking about that. Like, and being with like my fiance and like being like, oh shit, like I'm marrying her. Like,
Yeah.
it's like because like you go through the whole thing and you do it, and it's like you want to do it, but still you're like, whoa. You have these like overwhelming moments of just like clarity where you're like, oh man, like this, I'm actually building like this life for myself. Like I have this woman in my life that I really care about. And I don't want anyone else talking to her because I'm greedy. and let's be real, she could easily be taken, so I need to lock her down. She's smart and pretty.
How stoked are you to like pick wedding invitations, like the color, the font?
Dude, I wanted to do it.
Dude, what kind of font you picking?
I wanted to do it in a courthouse. Like I wanted to elope really bad.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Go to Vegas.
Not Vegas. If I'm gonna run away anywhere, it's not that place.
Literally anywhere but there.
Yeah, it'd be like the woods in Colorado, and we just marry ourselves or something. Yeah, I don't like a lot of tradition just for the sake of tradition. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
You don't feel like dropping $30,000 for a fucking ceremony?
It's not even that. It's just like the whole idea of it's not really about you or your wife. It's about the family. And
it's about your wife.
No,
it's her day.
Well, it's her day, but it's really like it's not even for you at that point. Like when you start planning one, if you ever decide to get married, like you'll soon find out it's way more for your family than it is for you or your wife.
I got some time.
Yeah.
I got some time, Connor. I think
maybe you do.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe that never happens.
You're just out here floating around. You don't have a plan, dude. So,
dude,
you don't even have a script yet.
You're Act 1, bro. You're Act 1.
You don't know what the fuck.
Yeah.
You have zero credibility in as to what's gonna happen.
That's true. I live my life like a goldfish, like 3 seconds at a time.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for you.
It's in the now.
Right.
Yeah.
But making that transition to like building a life with someone, and you're 26.
Yeah, I turn 27 next month.
Yeah, we have the same birthday week, and we're both 26, turn 27.
That's why you guys podcast together. It's some zodiac shit.
Tauri.
Oh yeah.
Tauri.
Both Tauruses.
I like that.
And I don't think I'm stubborn, but apparently I am. So.
I think everyone's stubborn if you just
dude, but hella loyal.
That's
one of the genetics.
I'll turn coat. I don't care who's winning. I'm on that team.
You're one of those
bandwagon.
You're the little finger of Grand X.
Yeah, no, just in like friendships.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just in like friendships. All right, noted.
Just kidding, man.
No, but that's funny with the wedding thing. Like, it is about so many other people, and so many people get involved, and so many people like in your shit with it.
Oh,
and at the point, like, I feel bad for people who make the decision to do it, and then about halfway into the process, they're like, I don't know about this anymore. But you're already so invested that to like call it off.
Everyone definitely has their doubts.
No. I mean, not doubts, like, but it's like, yeah, this is. They start to realize shit because every time you take a next step in a relationship, you start to realize things. Like, it's like, oh shit, okay. Like, you learn more about somebody. Sometimes maybe you learn something that you didn't want that to be a part of your life.
Dude, absolutely. I mean,
when the pressure's on.
I think you can have that relationship like moment with anyone, with your mom or dad, or like with a friend, like where just you go through something or like something happens, you're like, man, I wish I didn't know that about that person because it's totally changed them forever for me.
Dude, yeah, my dad raised me high the entire time.
I just found out.
Yeah.
You just found out?
Well, I mean, last few years, but I remember like as a kid, my dad would just take me to the park and everything. I just never knew he was just stoned all the time.
But in a way, isn't that kind of nice? Like, he got high and wanted to hang out with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's like dope. Like, that's really cool.
It makes me feel better about the possibilities of having a child. I don't want a child, but
I don't either.
So you guys don't want kids at all?
Not right now.
Not right now. That's a huge point of contention in my current relationship.
Wait, that's a point. That's a point of contention for you right now?
Yeah.
How long have you been dating?
Not long.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a point of
like
contention.
6 months.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. She was talking about just kids in general? Like,
kids and marriage, and I'm just like not sure about
She trying to get married right now?
Dude, she's 27, so yeah.
So she's our age?
See?
I mean, that's made up. It's
That's the thing about it. It's like, dude, I feel like I'm 31, and I'm obviously not married, and I've been in a couple of relatively serious relationships, but I feel like when you get into your 30s, you like it's like you've passed that, like that 27 to 30 range is really where the pressure's on. Mm-hmm. Like, if you got married before that, it's kind of like probably a little early. Then it's like if you're in there, especially if you're a woman, I can imagine it's like probably really challenging, but it's like the pressure's kind of on.
The oven's cooking.
Yeah, once you get to the 30s, it's like, okay, people give less fucks about what you're doing with yourself when it comes to relationships, so you can kind of be more free.
Yeah.
And then people in their 30s that are single are really reluctant to give it up because it's like, oh no, I have a gift here.
Yeah. It's something that no one really then realizes.
There's a point
Exactly.
like your late 30s where girls I feel like are just like, yeah, that guy's never settling down.
Yeah, but I don't want to be that guy. There's a lot of guys like that in Austin.
Going out to the bar, hitting on 18-year-olds.
Oh my god, dude! It's like people that are in their like late 30s and
Silver
they're hanging out with
foxes.
like 20-year-old
Touch of
strippers.
gray.
I'm just like, oh my god, that's
being
not cool.
social.
That's not cool. There's a certain like I think whenever you get to a certain age too, like in your late 30s, where there's like the age gap of where you're at in the environment that you're in like becomes inappropriate. And it's not like it's wrong. It's just like but it is inappropriate.
It stands out.
If there's a 16-year age gap, like my rule with girls generally is if we didn't watch the same cartoons, which says a lot about
She's
when
too
you grew
young
up,
for you?
then she's probably too young, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know what Doug is, if I can't be like
Can't make a Beats reference.
If you didn't have exposure to Are You Afraid of the Dark, like then we probably can't hang out that much.
Man, so like you're very particular about age then.
I mean,
but like your age, kind of.
Yeah,
right?
it's like I think I've hung out with girls like the millennials are weird, man. Millennial, like there's a gap in that where it's like y'all's age. I can like 26, 27, fantastic. 23, it's like I can't like there's not a connection there for me.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with technology too.
They didn't even have a MySpace.
Yeah.
They don't know shit
Yeah.
about
Whoa.
MySpace.
And they didn't
What?
have dial-up. Like I remember dial-up. Y'all probably didn't have like dial-up.
we had
We had to
dial-up.
like listen to the noises and shit.
Dude, we had dial-up.
It was so annoying.
I was on the computer at a young age.
Yeah.
Like I started so I went to film school, but the reason I went there was because when I was like a little kid, I used to make like stop motion animation with my wrestling figures when I was like 8 years old.
That's
So
awesome, dude.
I had like an Angel Fire website. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Like GeoCities?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to like just throw animations on there when I was like 8, 9 years
Can
old.
you find it?
Dude, it's fucking gone.
It's good. Do you delete it?
I wish it was kind of like towards the end. It was the early stages of YouTube, and I never put any of that on YouTube, and that's my biggest regret.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be damn.
Because they were hella tight.
I thought that was awesome.
Hell is the word of the day, by the way.
Hell is such a strong word, dude. Hell is such a fucking good word. And once
is.
it's one of those words you pick it up like on a weekend in Northern California, and then you just can't stop saying.
That's what
it.
I did this weekend.
It's like the herpes of cool words.
It's
Like,
like,
you're just never gonna get rid of it.
it's California and it's also Boston for some reason.
And I think it's Texas now too, man.
Wait, hella?
People say hella here all the time, but there's a lot of Californians that moved here.
Yeah.
I guess Austin more than just Texas, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's such a fun word to say, and I feel like it's more appropriate to be a little more easy with your language now. You know, like even tweeted this the other day. It's like it's funny that I can say balls deep and almost like in a conversation I'm in. Like it really like opens up my self-expression.
Absolutely.
I'm never like aware of my situation though. Like I was playing mini golf with my girl the other day, and there was children around, and we were just dropping f-bombs left and right. I was like, "Fuck, dude! Like I need to stop."
Your reaction,
man, 'cause-
your reaction to saying "fuck" too much was fuck.
was fuck.
Yeah.
But I think it helps
that's
people
funny.
trust you, though, man. That's the thing. That's the reason, like Tony Robbins in his presentation style will say like "fuck" and "bitch" and things like that, just to like keep people engaged. I used to do that all the time when I was coaching. Like if people started drifting off, I'd like throw in like I don't know, whatever. You can't really fuck doesn't work as well as it used to, but
Yeah.
you can drop a cunt every now and then. And
Cunt.
people are gonna pay attention.
Cunt works.
Cunt is a strong word.
It shouldn't like here it's strong. Everywhere else it's not.
I know, no, it's not. It's weird. I
Yeah.
saw a buddy of mine came on the show, and he said they have these calls with people in Australia, and it's happened a few times where they'll like casually use the word cunt like within the first 20 minutes of the conversation,
Yeah.
and then within like 2 hours of the call, they have to like send an apology, being like, "Oh, there's cultural differences. It's not a big deal."
Yeah, if there's not the British person or the Australian person doesn't drop cunt within the first 5 minutes of meeting them, they probably don't like you.
Yeah, that means they don't trust you, and you need to get away from them.
Right.
I learned a new British derogatory, not derogatory, but like I guess like insult, Muppet. Have you heard this?
Calling somebody a Muppet.
They call them Muppets, dude. Like you're a fool. You're a Muppet. Like
I like that a
That's
lot.
hilarious.
I've
to
heard
me.
somebody
That's
being
really
called like
good.
the king of the Muppets.
Muppet King.
Muppet King.
Dude.
You're the biggest Muppet of all, man. Nah, dude, that cracks me up. Just like Jim Henson, like
Yeah.
little
That
hand
might be
puppets.
like
Yeah,
a
like-
Canadian thing too, because I think it was a hockey player that said Muppet.
dude.
Yeah.
He's a
Love
fucking
it.
Muppet. I love that. I'm gonna use that. I'm stealing that. No one will know what it means. We'll know.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys
Don't be
know.
such a Muppet.
I feel like that would plant the seed in their head though that they just like, what the fuck did that guy mean by Muppet? Like,
I know they would
it
go
drive
find
them
it.
nuts.
Yeah, I would go. And that's the one thing when you can say something to somebody. Like I thought about this too, because I can really notice people when I'm around them a long time, and I'll like create this narrative in my head of like things that for whatever reason, it's like my defense mechanism because I'll get picked on a lot as a kid. So I can always have a narrative like something inside myself that will just like cut to the soul of someone like deep down that they can't ever unhear. That's like a deep resounding truth about how fucked up they are.
Wait, the fat kid with a flat top got picked on?
Yeah, no shit, right?
No way.
I am also
here.
a former fat kid.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to go through trial by fire.
It's
like,
the best. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I've actually written this column on Total Frat Move, just like bring back bullying and why bullying's so important.
It is important.
It's what helps you develop like your personality.
And
and your
then
sense
also
of
whenever
humor.
you go to your 10-year college or high school reunion, you're like, man, those guys that peaked in high school, like that's a thing. Peaking in high school is a thing.
No, absolutely.
And peaking in college is a thing. Do we all? I mean, you guys work for a fucking frat blog, like you've been around those guys that like, oh, wow, that was the best for you.
Dude, there's guys that still go back to parties.
Yeah,
frat
what? At
house.
26?
Yeah, that's
And
sad.
for like alumni weekend or just?
No, I mean my alumni weekend was this weekend. I actually had to miss it because I have both a wedding and a bachelor party coming up in the next few weeks, so I had to like pick and choose. But yeah, there's guys that just kind of like hang around every weekend.
Dude, the guys that are like, when you're talking to them, and you both have probably experienced this, just like, oh yeah, what house were you in? It's like, dude,
Dude, that
like
was
my Greek house
was
should
5
not be
years
the
ago.
first thing you ask about.
Yeah,
Like,
still? Do people still do that?
y'all top tier.
Yeah, like what?
top tier.
Like, or the people that are like, oh yeah, I was in like SAE, we were pretty good, like to one of the top houses. It's like we're 26.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't care less.
Dude, it was bad in college
Yeah.
when people were like, yeah, we're like upper middle tier. Like,
Middle tier. Like, why are we
at what-
tiering ourselves
Right.
right now?
It's like I'm just everybody's just thirsty for hierarchy.
Yeah, no, I mean we're an organizational species more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's a really unfortunate thing about us. Like we put ourselves in these boxes and stuff, and we're really good at labeling things.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
We have to compartmentalize it. Like it's our structural like
how we
hardwiring.
Yeah.
It's why we got here. Like we that's why the hedonic treadmill exists. So the guys encouraged me from touching base to start writing for PGP. So I got a couple of funny ones. That one's called "Your Parents Lied to You," and now they're lying to themselves. Working on that one right now.
It's true.
It is true. Yeah. But no, like Jordan Peterson talks about this, and it's like it's really funny. Like lobsters are like some of those basic animals ever, but they have a hierarchy. They have hierarchy in their social structure, and it's really funny. And we literally mirror exactly what they do because it makes sense. And then things that at one point were novel, like they lose their novelty, and that's called the hedonic treadmill. Like things that were cool quit being fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right. And if you keep trying to chase that high, you end up in like addictive tendencies. You end up in whatever. But if you can understand that that's happening and that things will like in relationships, this is super important. That's just because like you have to kind of see through the like what's novel and just like interesting to me because it's new and what do I really like deeply care about.
but that shit's also like a hamster wheel where it's cool, then it's not cool, then it'll eventually come back around and it'll be cool again.
Like Backstreet
Well,
Boys.
Yeah.
I think of like the hedonic limit or the hedonic wall or whatever you want to call it, the treadmill. It's kind of like what is it, subsistence farming, where we're growing corn for a while. We got to grow some other shit to make the soil better, and then we can go back to corn in like 4 years or whatever. You gotta cycle out what you get off to.
Dude, fuck corn.
Yeah, whatever, man. We're growing pot and heroin.
Growing heroin.
Yeah, we're just gonna grow heroin this time. Like,
cool with
I don't
that.
think you can use heroin in an example of the hedonic limit because like that is just there's a
No.
point where you're on it or you're not.
Yeah.
Like you're using it to. I think you get high like first month or two, and then you're just like on heroin.
Then it
now.
just then you're just in it. It
Yeah.
becomes you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something super important, and I think that's really, really valuable to people when it's like, especially coming out of college. Like you're not like there's certain things that you took for granted that you'll lose that are a big part of your identity, like having close camaraderie with a bunch of other men at one point, or women if you're in a sorority, like the pure ecstasy of like, and not even being on ecstasy, but like of having those parties, like you're checking so many boxes on your like primitive like checklist. It's like community, a lot of like freedom of expression.
Yeah, definitely.
Like substances, right, which bring connect. You don't know this shit's going on right now, but it's there. Then you have also sexuality is involved in that as well. Hierarchy, which is also helps people get off because they're climbing this hierarchical ladder and very quickly in 4 years. Like you can't mimic that in the real world.
Yeah, man. A lot of it's validating too, just like self-validating and just, I mean, that's what I got off on in college was validation constantly.
Yeah.
Like that was the best thing in the world. But
even small things in college, like your apartment complexes just come furnished.
Yeah, right.
Like no one tells you have to rent an apartment and then it's all on you. Like in the real world. It's like, damn. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know where to rent a furnished apartment anymore.
Right. You don't have a bed. Like they have a bed set up. They have a dresser.
It's like
people
TVs.
Yeah, that's not really a thing.
Yeah.
College is our whole education system does a really shitty job of preparing us for like real life.
Yes, absolutely.
And it digs you in a fucking financial hole. When is that shit gonna?
See, I'm don't make a lot of money, but I'm also have zero debt, and I'm like, I think I'm winning. I think I'm actually like winning.
Spent like $100,000 on college.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And you're still in that?
Yeah. I mean, I was out of state, so.
Oh fuck!
But it was still less expensive than going in-state to Penn State.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
College is a joke.
It's truly worthless except for the experience.
It's all about experience. It's all about networking. Because like I've learned so much more off YouTube videos than I ever did in classroom.
I used to say the same thing. I learned way more on YouTube than I ever did in school.
I could have gotten my degree from Wikipedia. I was a political science major, and I would just go on Wikipedia. Honestly, like I picked the books I wanted to read based on whether or not like the name of the person in the book sounded cool. Otherwise, I was just going to go to Wikipedia.
The worst part is too, like when we were in school, Wikipedia wasn't like a valid source.
No, you just use the sources, Wikipedia sources. And that's a valid source. Yeah. Okay. Why are we playing this game, Teach? Like,
why are we doing this?
Yeah, like can we just not learn from this thing?
Let's pull back the shroud and let's know what's going on here.
Also, this would be my preferred way to learn because I love getting stoned and just going on a Wikipedia hole, like just going way down random page. Like you can learn so much from that.
Did I do that? The algorithms that work with YouTube and things like that too, where you look at this and it's like, okay, I watched Jordan Peterson talk about narcissism for 15 minutes, and then it's the next video suggested on the top of the list. I'm like, oh, I want to see that one now. Yeah. And I was sitting in here in the kitchen like eating breakfast and drinking coffee and like watching these videos for like over an hour, and I feel like I learned so much about like toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. That shit cracks me up, man. Like the people that are very, very obsessed with like proving how much of a man they are. Like it's like a need. Like they aren't getting something. Like I don't know. Like they feel empty or something. There's something missing, so they need to like overcompensate. Is that what that is? I don't really know what the definition of toxic masculinity is.
I think it takes a lot of different forms, man.
Oh, okay.
We can look.
There's people that complain about it that are saying like that's what needs to change. Like you being too masculine. That's an issue.
See, like I don't consider myself super masculine at all.
Yeah, so it says toxic masculinity is defined by adherence to traditional male gender roles that restrict the kinds of emotions allowable for boys and men to express,
boys don't cry.
including social expectations that men seek to be dominant, aka the alpha male, and limit their emotional range primarily to expressions of anger. So what they say, and this is actually we talked about this on the show with the Shameless Sex Girls, is like the only emotion it's really socially acceptable to express is anger. Like you can't like being angry is way more socially acceptable than being sad or upset. And so it's I think it's more toxic expression because it all funnels all that like emotional energy into one kind of fucked up outlet.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. I can definitely see that then. I mean, that's just awful shit. Like you ever been like really upset in a conversation or something and like let's just be open right now. Like there's times where I'll get upset and like I get a little teary-eyed or something like that. I'm like, dude, I can't be seen like this. Like and I'll still think that. When really yeah, you know, and it's like I'm aware of it too, which like just doubles down on like my anxiety. It's like, why am I so fucked up? Like why can't I just cry? Like, but I can cry and stuff. I need to be like in a more comfortable setting. Like, why can't I just like, fucking A, man? Like, if my fiance gets too drunk, she might cry just for the fuck of it. Just because she can, it's fine for her to do it. But like, I don't think there is a perceived like. I think this idea of oh man, I can't be seen that is all in our heads. And, like, no one gives a shit. Like. But at the same time, if you saw a dude bawling at a bar, what would you think?
Somebody died.
You'd think that. Or you wouldn't think he's just like being kind of drunk and stupid.
I think his dog
Well,
died.
it depends. It depends.
Yeah.
Now, someone's like sobbing. Like, I mean, if I see anybody outwardly sobbing in like a social setting that's not appropriate, like, it doesn't matter what gender they are.
I don't know.
It's just a lot. Like, if I see a girl bawling and being obnoxious at a bar, I'm be like, well, she's fucked up. And if I see a guy do it, I'm gonna be like, well, he's obviously drunk.
Yeah.
Now, if I see a guy like sitting down with his friend at the bar, sitting at the bar, he's like crying,
like against the bar weeping.
Yeah, and they're talking. I'm like, okay, well, something bad happened. But I wouldn't be like, what a pussy. I should be just shout across the bar like, harden up, pussy.
Just deal with it, bro. Nut up.
I don't know what happened, but it's not worth those fucking tears on your face.
Grow a scrote, man.
No, that's how it's so fucking weird, man.
I've somehow like flipped a switch where everything's just turned into just like me not taking anything seriously and just everything's a joke. That's how I respond with everything. And I've said this before. It's like early on in a relationship, girls love that about you. They're like, you're hilarious, you're funny, you're so funny, you make them laugh. That eventually turns into everything's a joke to you. Like if you're with somebody long enough.
Yes. Yeah, that's true, man. It's true. I don't know. I think when I was y'all's age though, not that it's a huge gap, but like the 27 to 30, like early 30s, there's a lot that happens there where it's like you kind of figure out what the fuck. Like I was the same way. I realized that like everybody has defense mechanisms, and mine was taking nothing seriously. And I wouldn't be successful. I wouldn't ever put myself. It was like my fear of success. It was like I would just never take anything serious enough to actually be able to follow through with it. So for me, it was, oh shit, I have to like pick what I actually give a fuck about and start taking that seriously. And then I have my friend, you guys know the redheaded guy from his name is JP Sears.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a comedian too. He's hilarious. So he and I are friends, and we got to talking, casual name drop. But this makes sense. And we were talking, it's like he and I are actually opposites, where he limited himself because he took himself so seriously that he wouldn't get out of his comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Where I would do whatever, and I would just do it as a big fucking goofball, and I just never took things seriously. But we both end up in this like similar like spiritual satire fucking world, and it's like from the opposite ends of the spectrum, just trying to like make it. But it's funny, man. It's weird when you start to like, okay, well, cool. I can have feelings and not be a bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's more just like I've written on the internet for 4 years now, and I know how like Twitter works. I know how just like writing on the internet works. And the moment you kind of like take things seriously, it's just like, dude, like who am I?
Twitter, that's different though. We're talking about taking social media seriously versus taking like your relationship and your like career seriously.
Yeah, dude. I'm talking about like interactions with a person in front of me. Like if someone says something fucking hurtful to me, like me to you right now, like that's gonna hurt me more than some asshole on a computer. Like that's a robot at the end of the day.
Like face to face, I can like kind of go back and forth with somebody and just kind of like ball bust. I don't really take. I don't get.
There's still a difference than that and being really like hurtful.
Well, like what Connor was just saying about like he has this running dialogue of just soul cutting shit that he could probably take out at any time but chooses not to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what you gonna say about me, bro?
Nothing, dude. But it's like funny because like you notice these things. It's like that's something I've noticed, and it's like I used to do that a lot when I was young. It was like a thing I did. Now it's like I use the same observational skills to like see how I can help people. Because you can use it's a shadow side, right? Like I can see like that's why I love working with people, and like the writing and stuff that I do is around like, okay, let's all acknowledge your bullshit. I can see your bullshit. I'm really good at seeing everybody's like full of shit. Okay, cool. I am too. Sweet. Now we're all like we've met there. Now we can acknowledge you. Like I actually want to write a book called I'm scared to say this. I don't want somebody to steal the title over at Grandex, but the Douchebag Manifesto is really just where you acknowledge like your douchery and where it exists. So then once you bring awareness to it, then you can do something with it.
As long as you're self-aware.
So that's just to get more. It's more. It's just a fun way of creating self-awareness.
That's really the quality that people lack in the world. It's just self-awareness.
Yeah. Do you think so? Do you think people are truly unself-aware?
Yeah.
Like I've thought about this for a while. I think that might be a little pat on the backy to think
self-righteous a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's a little self-righteous to assume that people aren't self-aware. Like there's a very good XCKD comic. Have you ever looked at any of those?
What is that?
XCKD. It's just like a web comic series, but it's like all these people are on this bus and they all have this one thought bubble. Like they have their own individual thought bubbles going up to this one piece of dialogue. It's like, look at these like sheep people. They probably aren't aware of every passing moment like I am. No one's as like. I think to think like not people aren't self-aware. It's just what they do with it.
I'm very self-aware because I know I'm a fucking moron. Like,
No, I think you'd be surprised how many people think that way about themselves. Like that they're like, oh man, I don't really know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, like all these kind of doubts and stuff.
And that's really why I don't want to be serious though. Is just because what am I gonna say that? Like, what experience do I have to like change somebody's life? I'd rather just make you laugh.
Yeah, which is part of it.
Yeah,
right? It's not about like what you do. It's like just you express, like I call it like authentically expressing yourself, right? It's like you're fine. You know enough. You create enough self-awareness where you know that like what you'd like to bring to the world. Right, which a lot of people don't have that, but I think you can get really self-righteous when you talk about self-awareness. Like, I don't like saying that I'm self-aware. People can tell me that all they want, and I'm like, cool, thank you, I guess. But it's like to me, it's like saying that it's like saying you're enlightened, and it's so fucking douchey.
Oh, yeah.
And I've actually had people on this show talk about how they've become self-aware, and I'm like, as if it's a place.
Yeah.
It's like, no, self-awareness is a process. And so is like being authentic is also a process. Like this stuff doesn't start. You aren't just all of a sudden authentic. Like there's things right in front of your face about you that you can't see, and that's okay. And this is why I love Mark Manson, like his writing style. He wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. He's like, really, life is a process of going from wrong to slightly less wrong over and over again until you die.
Yeah.
Like you never know all of it, and you never are fully acquainted with yourself. So it's like you can have a self-awareness practice, which is like little things like meditation where you like literally bring awareness to your body.
That is very true. It's more like I am more self-aware than I was when I was like 20. So like when I was 20, I was a fucking idiot. And when I'm 35, I'm going to look back at when I'm 26 and I'm going to be like,
there's going to be a moment where you're going to look back on this conversation we're having right now, and you'll be like, what an idiot.
It's probably going to be like when we listen to it.
Yeah, like 5 minutes from now. Yeah.
We're running back.
It's like, God, what was I thinking? No, dude, honestly, I think kind of the idea of enlightenment and the path towards it and all that's kind of a burden for human beings, isn't it? Almost like,
I think we tee it up to be a burden.
Yeah.
Though. We set it up as like a pass fail. I mean, we live our whole lives like pass fail. Then it's like, oh, cool, spiritual practice. You can pass or fail at this too, and it's like, whoa, that's not how it works, bro.
Yeah.
Like you think you're that
the
important
Buddha's like,
too.
chill, man. The Dalai Lama's like, whoa, hang on, everybody needs to calm
Chill
down,
out.
because it's like that's the thing. It's like a path. If you want to get spiritual with it,
The
it's
Tao,
like,
right?
Yeah, it's the way.
Yeah.
It's like bracing it that you don't ever actually get anywhere.
No, it's truly haunting how little you get to figure out, but how much you get to figure out too. Like, there's so much stuff you get to figure out just about yourself and about the world around you, but you don't know shit.
Yeah.
Like, you never really, like, I've never been to a prefecture. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's like some sort of land area in like Asia or something. Like, oh, it's this prefecture. Like, I don't know what that is. That's a whole world over there. I'm never gonna see it probably. Yeah. Unless I travel to it, I guess. But most people don't.
There's a documentary called Samsara, and it doesn't have really any words in it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's Samsara means like the wheel. It's like the cycle of illusion. Yeah. And in Buddhism and like some Eastern religions.
It's such a music, right? It's about like peoplescapes and stuff like that.
It's so incredible. But that's the feeling I had. I was super high. I watched this with my buddy. I've actually seen it twice. And you watch it and you're like, there's so much of the world that I will never see. Mm-hmm. I think that's when I realized there was one moment. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces in college. It came out a long time ago.
It's old,
but
it's really beautiful, really well shot. And it's like this big green field with these older like Aztec-looking pyramids like scattered out throughout the whole thing, and these clouds. And just the way they had it looked like it wasn't a drone; it was like a helicopter probably at this time. Flying through there, and I go, I have to see that in my life. Like it was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. I was like, I have to experience that in real life, and it was. But I was thinking about that too. Like it's not really evolutionarily advantageous for us to understand what the fuck we're even doing here.
No, it's probably from
our brains.
No, from a productivity standpoint, self-awareness is probably the worst thing that could happen to people as far as making more people is concerned. Yeah, like as society gets more self-aware. Yeah. But like from a DNA standpoint, we're supposed to just make more people. Right? Yeah, but like
success.
It is crazy though to think how much more of the world we see compared to like somebody 100 years ago.
Oh,
like,
dude.
If you murdered somebody, I don't know, let's say 1860, you got into like a gunfight or something, you just moved 2 miles west and you never see that person ever again.
Yeah. Like jump on a train.
Right.
You're done. Yeah.
It's like wanted posters and shit. Yeah. Well, dude, and even think about this. Like I went on a rant after a podcast one time where essentially like this, what we're doing now, we're having a conversation and we've gotten to know each other through this medium. And then we share it and like thousands of people will listen to this. and it's like that's essentially like sorcery.
Oh, it's
like go back a year, like 100 years ago. Was straight up magic.
Yeah, like if you picked up a box and someone else's voice was talking at you through it, you'd be like, wait, what? Like,
we just get so conditioned to it, it's like normal, and it's like, no, this is fucking crazy.
When they showed like the first movie, Dan, you probably know this. They showed like one of the first movies ever in a theater. And there's a scene where a train is coming at the camera. People dove out of the way.
Was that Great Train Robbery?
Great Train Robbery, yeah. So like people were so because they just think about it. There's
no context.
There's nothing in your life you've ever seen move without it being actually there moving.
Yeah,
it's never been projected somewhere.
Yeah.
So that. Right? And now if you took this back, what we're doing 100 years ago, their heads would explode. Like they wouldn't know what to do with it.
It's so crazy.
They think we were like
I don't even know how you would explain it to them. It's like, oh, it's kind of theater, kind of not, but it's just projecting out of this little
it's
tiny
people
box.
having a conversation and then putting it on the fucking internet, which is like a whole other conversation to have.
They'd be like, do you talk about news and current events? And it's like, no, we just kind of talk about what we want to talk about. And people listen to that?
It's like, we have a game plan going in, but we never follow it.
We would probably be burnt at the stake, if we're being honest.
For sure.
We'd look like spacemen to them. Just
you guys on what is it, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they're burning the witch?
Yeah.
She's a witch.
She's a witch. How do you know she's a witch? She turned me into a newt.
Not better. Yeah. It's a great flick.
It's so good.
It's the best Monty Python there is probably.
They throw it in the water.
Life of Brian.
Life of Brian's okay.
Oh man. Can you believe
different.
it wasn't that long ago people like legit burned witches?
Dude,
which were just people that were practicing like alternative medicine.
Like less than 200 years ago.
Not even that.
Like you probably have a great grandparent that was around when a witch got burned. Like if you think about it, that shit's mind blowing to me.
It's like 4 generations ago.
You disagreed with like a Bible passage, and it's like, all right.
No, it's like I'm using like aloe vera on my sunburn. They're like fucking witchcraft.
That's a witch freckle you got there, buddy. You're gonna burn.
It's like how are they gonna find out? Oh, we're gonna tie her up and throw her in the creek and see if she floats.
Well, if she doesn't float, she's not a witch.
And she's still dead.
She's dead though,
but she didn't get burned. And it's like I think about that. I was listening to Hardcore History with Dan Carlin.
Oh,
which
that's a great podcast.
Did you listen to one about the Wrath of the Khans?
No, I listen. I'm still on Doomsday Switch or whatever. Where it's just the entirety of like World War I, World War II.
Wasn't it like the Path to Armageddon or something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that. I didn't actually listen to that one. And I don't think you can even get the Wrath of the Khans anymore on his podcast feed because he takes them and archives them and sells them, which is a great idea because he puts so many hours of research into that.
Yeah, for sure.
But when he was talking about this, talking about Genghis Khan and how that whole thing happened, which was a fucking incredible story. It was probably like 30 hours of audio, something like that. It was long, and it was so good. And then I realized when he was talking about it, I'm like, that was only like a few hundred years ago. That's not that long ago that people were lining up and he was obliterating entire cities with swords.
Yeah.
Like he straight up the Pope hit him up and was like, hey, you need to stop what you're doing. This is not in alignment with God's will or some shit like that. And Genghis Khan wrote back and was like, obviously it is because it seems like I'm winning.
Yeah, no, he would say stuff like he had of all the most badass things you could say to people. Genghis Khan pretty much said all of them.
He had some killer one-liners.
Yeah, like someone was like, man, my God, why have you like they're talking about like how could their God do this? It's like you're praying to the wrong God if they brought me to you. Like holy shit, and now you're gonna die. Like, and he'd marry like. Do you know how he would take over like places too? Like either he'd do it by force or like he'd send a daughter to marry somebody.
Really? I didn't know that.
Like he'd send a daughter to marry like the patriarch or whatever you want to call it.
Well,
like the
homeboy had some daughters.
Yeah, he had a lot of daughters. Yeah. So he'd send a daughter. Then he'd use that new town that like he just married into his kingdom. He'd send the son of the daughter out to war. Like first thing, just like, yep, you got to go fight this fight now. Like you're our new city. You got to use your armies to go kill more people. And you're on the front lines.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Smart. It's like compounding interest.
Yeah. No, he was just setting up franchises everywhere.
He was killing it, man. Yeah. But the thing is, you can't even be mad at it. He was just really good at the game they were playing back then. He wasn't even wrong. And I mean, it was quote unquote wrong. I guess he killed a lot of people, but it's this is what they were doing in the step back then. I mean, it's crazy.
That's still why we have so many people, because human capital is so important for so long. You know?
Exactly.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah. And the thing that we need to acknowledge there is that we're not different. Like we haven't like changed that much in the past 300 years.
Dude, our technology is outpacing the way we order society. It's really out there.
It's really dissolving the fabric of how we communicate with each other. And I don't know if it's like that's just the evolution of it, and it's uncomfortable for some of us. But I don't know. I mean, you guys, we're all in like the content creation world, really.
Yeah.
Like, what's video doing for people now? You're in that world, Dan.
What's it doing?
Yeah, like what they said, videos are next. If everybody's got to double down.
Everyone's
on video,
pivoting to video.
Pivot to video hard, son.
That seemed to not work for Fox because
Yeah.
they laid off a bunch of writers, pivoted to video, and apparently they just lost a bunch of traffic.
Well, that's because Fox is garbage.
This is true, but
Yeah.
I'm talking like Fox Sports and everything, not like.
Oh,
Fox
okay,
News.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think sports writing will be one of the last to go. You would think.
Man,
Yeah,
Grantland
but-
just got axed.
Well, I mean, it's been axed, but they have
Yeah.
the Ringer. The long form writing. I mean, there's definitely an audience for that, but it's becoming less and less. And even videos longer than 2 minutes, I feel like, have gone the wayside.
Yeah.
It's all about what can I fit in a minute on Instagram,
Yeah, it really is.
and I have to get their attention within like the first 5 seconds. Otherwise, they're not watching the video.
And that's why those big ass, like those big headers and bumpers on top. People try to get me to do that, right, for the show. And just be fully transparent. Like, it's like, okay, how are we going to grow the show audience? That's obviously the content's good. We're going to make this thing happen. For me, it's like I need to partner with somebody who's in alignment with me because my other option is to be one of these fucking Instagram motivational speakers, and that feels like so douchey to me.
If that's how you feel about it, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it, like,
Well,
that's
I don't
the
want
last thing you
to
should
put a
do.
bumper on a video and be like, before you date anybody, watch this because my advice is so good. It's like, no, literally what I do is help people take their lives a little bit less seriously so they can
Yeah.
be compassionate for themselves and live more fully.
We have an
That's
entire
it.
fitness and lifestyle podcast where we make fun of those people. So
We make fun of most fitness in general on our fitness and lifestyle podcast. We're making fun of like every way to get healthy. We kind of bag on it, but it's because we love that shit. too, at the same
Yeah.
time.
Well, you have to be like I love like personal development, spirituality. I also love shitting on it. the
Oh,
most.
absolutely.
I coached CrossFit for 7 years. I love that style of fitness. I still do it, and I will also shit on it just because it's what it is. Like maybe
because it's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's fun. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go exercise for points. That's what we used to call it. we would hashtag, like we would go to the CrossFit Games and shit and be like the exercising for points world championships. What we call it.
What is the scoring system for CrossFit? How do you win CrossFit? Time?
It depends, time and reps. It depends. Like everything's
Okay.
quantified. So there's movement standards. So you have to meet movement standards, right? Like squats have to be a certain depth, and it's very easy.
It's like
to see.
ice skating
No,
to the point where
it's
you
not.
get like,
It's not
detected
objective.
points or nah.
No, it's like not objective like that. It's like, so say you're doing like a classic CrossFit workout. So it's like deadlifts and box jumps, right? So it's like 21, 15, 9 deadlifts at 315 pounds and 30-inch box jumps. It's a terrible workout. But it's for time, right? So deadlifts have to, obviously, it's a really easy one to standardize because deadlifts start on the ground, obviously. You can't bounce them, and you have to stand all the way up. Right, so there's like an alignment. When you're a judge watching that, it's like you stand all the way up. Same thing on a box jump. You have to jump on the box and stand all the way up before you jump off. So it's like things like that you can quantify.
Okay, so it's like a chicken wing eating contest.
Very much, very similar to a
Yeah.
chicken wing eating contest.
Almost identical.
Dude, wing bowl and Philly.
But those people are fucking freaks, and it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
one of the reasons I'm also so weirded out about how much people care about steroids in sports. It's like I don't want to watch people do normal people shit.
No.
Yeah.
Like I want my accountant to be dialed in. If that means they're taking Adderall, like that's on them. That's not my decision. But
Dude,
I want
the entire
that
world,
return, son.
I think like 95% of the world's on some type of performance enhancing drug.
Dude, everyone drinks coffee
Coffee,
or
yeah.
tea or
I drink the shit out of coffee. And
Yeah.
tea. But it's even then. It's like I took gear when I was competing.
Yeah.
I'm coming out. This is the exclusive, guys. I was on testosterone for like 3 years because I tanked my shit over training, and I was like, "Hey, you sit down. When you sit down with somebody like this is what you really care about, and you're very passionate about it. And it's like you have a tremendous amount of your identity is wrapped up in this.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
It's like it
Yeah.
goes either you're gonna have to stop doing this because your testosterone's at like 190 total, which is like I'm basically dead. I might as well be like either like 87 years old or just go jump off a cliff.
Jeez.
Like.
That's
Or
crazy.
you can take gear and keep doing it until. And I gave myself a cutoff. I said I was going to cut off. I was going to be done before I was 30. I was going to quit. Like,
That's a
quit
great
competing.
word for it too. Gear.
You've
like
never
it.
heard that?
No.
Gear?
Yeah,
Nah.
gear is the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because steroids is such a fucking weird word.
Yeah.
Right? Like
It's kind
gear-
of I mean, they are, but gear
Gear's
is
more like so. Right now, I take Clomid right by itself, which is
Oh,
nice.
really?
Yeah, and I was at 650 testosterone. I get my blood tested. That's why I want insurance so I can get this
Yeah.
stuff done more often. But I was at 650 total and clean, and I was feeling really good. And and that's still like lower, like where you want to be is like in that 900 range, and then your free testosterone needs to match that. So I took a little bit of Clomid. I take like half of a pill a day, and I definitely feel a difference. But it's not like I'm.
Do you get it prescribed?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't get anything off the street.
I was
no. This is often like I go to the pharmacy and pick this stuff up.
Okay.
It's all prescribed.
Cool. Yeah. I was about to say, I hope you're not buying Clomid from just some like random.
No, dude.
Yeah.
Gone are the days, man. People are like, we're gonna get some shit. I'm like, first off, I guess I'm humbled that you think that I'm on stuff.
Yeah.
Like that I haven't done that in years. And second, I'm like, don't buy. Just go to the fucking doctor, man. They'll write you prescriptions for it. Like you can get your testosterone covered by health insurance.
Yeah, for sure. Like a TRT place, especially. Like yeah.
Go to a good urologist. Just stuff you need to do anyways. Like get your blood work done, see where you're at, and also it's like you got to think about your sleep. There's all kinds of shit. We should talk about this is more y'all's show.
No, honestly though, I mean like this is fine. Like I honestly think maybe that's part of toxic masculinity is that we don't have these resources, and it's weird to talk about these things. But like that shit is men's health is so overlooked and so important. Just like you said, go to your urologist. Like go to. Ask people about your dick, please. Like, please just ask people about your dick. You should really do that. Have you ever asked a doctor about your dick?
Oh,
like, what about it?
Yeah.
Like, just anything. Like, there are a lot of people that never talk about, like, hey, my dick feels kind of weird, or like, is this normal? They don't know what normal is around their own dick.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
they don't know what normal is for their genitals. Man.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking weird.
It is super weird.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so much shame around. Dude, I got shamed by my fucking doctor in my hometown when I went home. It's like during college, I wanted an STD screen, and he was like really fucking judgy about it, and I was like, dude, he's like, you should be using condoms always. And you could tell he was like mad that I was having premarital sex. And I'm like, bro.
Well, you're small town Texas, right?
Yeah, I was like, dude, come on. It was so weird. It was so weird. But it's like, I had a something going on. Like, and I have a badass urologist. It's shouts to Midtown Urology. It's the place to go. Dr. Trotter's the bomb. But I was like, dude, I don't know what the hell's going on. But like, I didn't have an STD because I got checked. And I was like, wasn't that what it was? And what it was? And it was like something simple. Like I was drinking coffee first thing in the morning, cold brew almost every morning, and I was just a little bit dehydrated, and it just like felt weird. And but I was like, I actually put it off way longer than I should have. And it's like, yeah, just drink water before you drink coffee in the morning. Gone, done.
Yeah.
It was like that simple. But I was like, I was all stressed out about it. And it's like, yeah, it actually wasn't that big of a deal at all. Like at all, just have that conversation. And people are fucking scared to talk about your dick.
Yeah, dude. Because it's, well, one, you don't want to find out anything wrong with your dick. I know that feeling too. Like when you go to the doctor and you're like, oh man, I don't want to ask about this because what if it, like, I have bad GERD, you know?
Yeah.
I put off seeing anyone about it because
what's GERD?
Gastrointestinal reflux or gastroesophageal reflux. It's just really bad heartburn.
Yeah.
Basically. But like, I was like, man, I'm going to get screened for this. God, what if it's cancer? Like, what if it's this? And you have all those thoughts. And
yeah, that's where I was at too. I was like, what if this is cancer? Fuck.
Yeah.
Like bladder cancer.
I guess
Just
I also
search
have,
WebMD.
I was all over that shit.
Everything
Dude.
leads to
It's
cancer.
all
the
over that
worst.
shit.
It's always cancer or AIDS.
Yeah.
It's always the two worst things.
And that's what everything points back to. It's like, oh, you have this symptom.
It's like you have cancer and your cancer has AIDS.
So you went to the doc for that?
I went to the doctor, yeah. I just finally was like, man, I need to figure this shit out. Like, I'm taking Nexium when I haven't been prescribed it and stuff like that. And now I'm fucking with that. And, like, it's like, maybe I should just ask a doctor. Maybe I should just ask, because I don't know. Like, I think I realized I had some anxiety problems then, too. Like,
yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I don't want it to be cancer. I don't want. It's like, then go figure it out. Like, so you would rather it fester in your body longer because you're scared of it?
Yeah,
Like, that's
exactly.
Dumb. Yeah, so
Just like your feelings.
yeah, just keep them deep down and don't talk about them.
Just let them brew in there until they just eat away at your soul.
And then you can turn them into anger on your deathbed.
Yeah, then you have a
it's
heart
fine.
attack at like 50.
Yeah, right.
Because you just never let anything go.
Yeah, dude. It's like it's a fucking weird. It's a weird, dude. And that's the thing too. And this is actually when Jake and I were talking about doing open mic stuff, and I was like, yeah, man, I think that the first bit that I wrote is about how hard it is to be a white dude, because we get like villainized all the time. And I'm not saying we're not victims by any means. Like, let's be real.
No.
But at the same time, it's like we can't even complain to anybody but each other. And that's why Fox News exists, so white people can complain to each other about.
Well, people are like, well, you know, the problem with white people, and white people are problematic because like they're like, well, I have problems too and stuff. It's like, yeah, but you built the entire world that you live in. So if you have a problem, it's your fucking fault.
Yeah, you're
like,
responsible for the problem.
Yeah,
like no one's systematically objectifying you.
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't get as much like no one cares about my issues because the world was literally built for you.
Yeah.
By you. So if you have a problem with it, it's truly your fault somewhere. Like, I mean,
or you have too much eggs in like the wrong basket. It's like
Yeah.
the world doesn't need coal right now, guys. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true.
Oh my
man.
God, dude, we do so many dumb shit like that. But yeah, dude, it's funny. Like it's white privilege is such and just privilege in general is like such under such attack and under such scrutiny. And I'm like, again, acknowledge if you're fucking privileged. Like I haven't said that before, and I don't mean to be arrogant. It's like I'm a tall white dude. Like I get preferential treatment. It's not fair. And if I could like change it, I would, because that isn't fair. But that's the fucking world that we live in.
Yeah.
I'm kind of low key cool with it. I like
as a whole.
No,
it's like if you think about,
sorry, go ahead.
no, dude.
Sorry.
No, I'm not cool with it for other people, but I'm saying like I'm getting the preferential
don't.
treatment. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Like,
I wish the playing field when it came down to things that you have nothing to do with was a little bit more even, but there's also like everybody has a life experience that's valuable and that's something to add to the world in their own way for the most part. Unless you shop at Walmart, then you're just trash.
there's some deals there, man.
Yeah, they roll back the prices. No, I think that's where culture comes from, though.
Right.
Culture comes from strife. Like, culture comes from people getting together, figuring out what works for them in order to survive longer.
Yeah.
Like, in a situation that they normally probably wouldn't survive. Like, the best food I've ever eaten isn't, like, filet mignon and asparagus with, like, a nice Bordeaux. You know, that's a good meal, whatever. But there's nothing, like, interesting about it to me. It's just good. Like, you look at cultures that are traditionally poor or have less money. They use different organ meat. They use different like cooking processes, and the food is so much better. And it's because they figured out how to like develop something in dire straits that's still palatable, you know. And that's where like good food comes from. That's where different
us
culture
whites
goes.
hate seasoning. And
Dude, it's
taste
true.
and flavor.
Dude,
Yeah, no,
that's the thing. There's no like there may be white privilege in the world, but there's definitely not fucking white culture.
Our white culture blows.
White culture
culture's the
sucks.
worst.
That's why we always try to like adopt other cultures.
And then we just fuck it up.
Yeah.
It's like,
like,
you don't know what to do with it. It's like
I love black culture. I love rap music, and it's just like, well, because they're like white culture sucks.
Yeah.
What, like Ed Sheeran or some shit?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
These are people that decided at one point, you know what would look fly as fuck? Powdered wigs. Let's get on this.
Yeah, it's the
powdered
same
wigs
people.
and pantaloons. Like, terrible. Not good culture. Oh, you know what's good? The Hamptons. Like,
it's just so
New England beaches.
It's
Like,
vanilla as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Then we end up like vanilla ass people having vanilla ass kids, and you're just like, oh my god, like white kids are the most boring things ever.
and they're all anxious and depressed.
They all have
and on
diseases.
drugs.
They have iPads. And you're just like, get out of here with your.
We all have IBS. We all have some type of like. We have something wrong.
And
with
there's a
some
pill for
disorder.
all of it. Yeah, and you know what? And it's all without any context whatsoever, and that's the most mortifying thing about it, right? We inherit all this like these anxiety issues and these conditioned issues from our parents and our parents and our parents. We have none of the context that created it in the first place, and there never was any.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of fucked.
It is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have so much abundance now too, where it's like.
Yeah.
It's just as a species, not even like it's like there's so much and there's so many of us. I mean, I think the United States is fucked in so many ways because there's just so many people here of so many different like socioeconomic statuses and so many different cultures. It's like I don't know, man. We there's just 300 million people is too many people for like some orange dickhead to like make rules about.
It is true though, where like people are like, oh, America is like the most racist place in the world, but it's like. I think Tosh has a bit where he's like, yeah, because in China, they're all Chinese. Like, it's not a mix of cultures. It's not like people coming together trying to like live in harmony. Yeah. It's just everyone's just kind of like segregated in other countries. And it's just because even if you go to like Central America or South America, they're all relatively the same type of like Hispanic, but they hate each other. Like,
yeah, Miami's like that.
Yeah,
Miami's under a microscope with the cultures being like. But I love Miami to go just like observe. Oh, you guys like, spend a lot of time in Florida. Yeah, it's awesome.
Miami's
it's awesome
beautiful.
I mean, it's a great in the culture there. I mean, talk about the food.
Oh, the white people culture there sucks though.
No, they're the worst. Yeah,
they're my least favorite group of Miami kids. like kids.
SoFlo.
Honest, South
dude.
Florida, Miami Jews. As a Jewish person growing up in not South Florida Jews were my least favorite group of people to interact with
Why is
because
that?
it was so culturally different. It was very nouveau riche. It was very flashy, and like it was very self-centered. They weren't bad people or anything like that, but it was just like status was very important, and like where you were interning was important, and like how you were climbing the ladder, because I think that's important for a lot of Jewish people because traditionally we're kept down a lot and throughout history. And I never grew up with any of that. I had like asshole kids be like, "Oh, you're Jewish, haha," but like never had like this whole like complex about being Jewish.
Yeah.
And they did.
It was just like a thing. It was like a thing. Just like everybody has like a thing. Like I was the fat kid with the flat top.
Yeah.
Dan, everybody thought that Dan he was autistic.
Yes. That's fair.
Wait, what?
Fair.
Did they really?
No.
Oh, that was just on the fly. That was good. Is that your running dialogue of things to say to cut Dan to pieces?
That's fine. I'll take it. Autistic, I'm good at one thing at least.
I don't think they're all like Rain Man, man.
No, but yeah, dude, that's you'll be all right.
Yeah.
We're here for you. But no,
made it
dude,
this far in life.
South Florida, like from my experience and just with people from there, it's like they're not bad people, but the value system there is very, very strange.
It's
to me.
odd.
It is very flashy, but it's cool. It's cool to go experience it. But man, it's like reconciling that. And I think I grew up in this like small Texas town where it's like relatively racist and just kind of like
people work in oil fields.
Yeah, like I grew up in the oil and gas industry. Like I worked in the oil and gas industry my whole life, and it wasn't like, and I say that like not like in an office, like blue collar, like sunburns and steel toe boots and like farmer's tans and shit.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So like to have that cultural diversity, that's why when I see something like Samsara, even like what we like Dan and I have talked about, where it's like we're so far outside of what we thought was possible as growing up in those worlds, we're like, oh man, I'm like not addicted to any kind of like serious
opioid
bathtub drugs, and even and Jake, you coming in and doing what you're doing with Grand X and making that happen versus going like working at Goldman Sachs, which is like we have the freedom as in our generation to really go do some different shit, which also has to do with us being relatively entitled, but
and we're kind of paying the price for it too, where like everything is just super expensive. I feel like our grandparents made like maybe $5 a week, but buying a house was like $12.
Yeah. Like their mortgage was like a 3-year mortgage for like a $12 house.
Yeah. It's like, no, we just bought our house cash. Like, what? You bought a house cash? It takes 30 years to pay for a house now. Like, it's insane.
The mom wouldn't have a job. She'd be a stay-at-home mom. The dad be working, I don't know, like a steel mill or something. And they just live very comfortably. Two cars, white picket fence. Like, how did they afford that?
There wasn't much shit to do. Like, the stuff that you went and did was free. Like, I mean, it's not like there was every kind of entertainment. There wasn't like escape rooms and like
big night out was going to the drive-in.
Dude, going to get a nickel cheeseburger was a big deal. And now it's like, I'm going to go to this putt-putt where you take LSD beforehand and they play Bass Nectar on your own headset and like all this kind of shit.
Silent disco putt-putt.
Silent disco. Dude, we're sitting on a gold mine.
We are.
Actually, yeah. No, we're going to bankrupt our generation because of this.
Cut that, Connor.
Yeah. Edit that out. We need to keep that one. And we'll sell the douchebag manifesto at the front counter.
Yeah, right.
For everyone.
Dude, what was like the first festival? Woodfest?
Woodstock,
yeah. I don't know why it's
Woodfest. That's a different festival.
Yeah, dude.
It's a porn festival.
Yeah, it's in San Francisco. It's pretty cool.
Dude, festival. That's the thing too. There's so many things to do. And this is why I think it's so important to have an understanding, like books, like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, or listen to some of these spin-offs or something like that, where it's like you have to actually understand what you give a fuck about, because otherwise you'll just be like trying to do everything to everybody all the time, and you'll end up just like going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I got to go to Coachella and Burning Man, and then I have to drive a Range Rover, and I need this apartment that's $2,000 a month, and I need these clothes, and I need this. Like, but what you're missing is like you also have to go to fucking work, to pay for all this shit. It's like that's where the entitled. It's like there's this big gap between like all the things you want to do and what it actually takes to get there, and that's where it's fun to say something like, yeah, your life is really defined by what you'll sacrifice for.
Yeah,
really, at the end of the day, it's like, what will you like kind of go through some shit for?
Yeah,
and that's the reality of it.
Yeah, we were talking about that on Thursday, I think, actually.
Yeah.
I think we were after Volstad was.
Oh yeah, after your
I killed it.
You did slay. You were the first funny person to come up there.
Thank you. But yeah, no, it's shit. I just got wrapped up in my compliment or your compliment. Thank you.
No, you're
Connor.
blushing over there. No, we're talking about like being defined by what you'll suffer for.
Oh yeah, no. So like I have a buddy that likes to hunt a lot, and it's like, man, I wish I could just hunt all day. It's like, why don't you just move to the fucking woods, dude? Like, why don't you just move to nature and not work anymore and like live off gas or whatever?
Probably live a better life than that fucking douchebag from Into the Wild that died on the bus because he ate the wrong berries.
Yeah, just like go. If you have guns already, you have enough money to like figure it out. Just
does
stop.
Alaska
if you
still
really
have
want
that?
to, yeah, but it's like is he just saying that because it makes him feel good, and then but really he wants to like go to brunch also, and
I think that's
it's like, well, that's okay. It's like I like to hunt. Like I like to hunt too. I went like 3 times last year.
See, I'm somewhere in between,
like
trying to like get into the film industry and eventually make movies, or just completely give that up and go to like Central South America, live on the beach, rent jet skis, maybe get like a beachfront gym, bar, restaurant or something. That'd be a dope ass life. Just smoke weed all the time.
I think everyone has like a type A dream and a type B dream. Yeah. And like my type A dream is I would love to be like a writer or stand-up comedian or an actor or something like that. You know, just be in a position to use myself to make people feel.
Something that requires you to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And, like actually put in work. Yeah.
The other type B fantasy is, man, I could just grow pot and like hang out in Florida and be fine with it.
Colorado.
And, like, I think I would get bored from time to time, but like also I'd be really chill and happy. I wouldn't have as many problems either.
Yeah.
It's just, it's kind of scary knowing that there's 2 different people in my head.
I did realize that. The more
it's almost like you do have that. I thought about that too. It's like I think about moving to like a place. I'm like super able-bodied and pretty handy. It's like I could just go do some kind of like whatever, and just live in a really badass place that's beautiful. Like, I almost did that.
It's usually when I smoke a lot of weed. It's like I get really apathetic towards like my hopes and dreams. I usually just kind of like go to plan B
because
when I'm high.
They're illusory. They're made up by you. Of course you're going to like question them.
You should question them though. You really should. If you're going to pour your life into something, like why are you chasing that promotion? Why do you want this thing?
Yeah.
Like with me, whenever I closed my gym, dude, I had accepted a job in New Zealand. I was like, I'm fucking out of here. So I'm going to make 60,000 New Zealand a year, which is pretty good. They had a truck for me to drive until I got myself settled. Like you can pay rent by the week over there. I had a place to hunt, and there's I could go fishing on this like boat that they had. I was like, I had the whole setup, and I was like, damn, this would be amazing. And it was like I was done. I was like, I'm gonna go coach CrossFit for like 20-30 hours a week, which is a really fun gig in a beautiful place,
right?
And
beautiful
in Wellington.
Women.
I was like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be fantastic. And then maybe I'll start a podcast. Maybe I won't give a fuck.
What happened? Did you get your visa? Or?
I did get my visa, and then I met Liv, which you guys both know, and then I started working on it. And then the podcast thing was always a big that's the dream, right? Like the dream is to do have conversations for a living. And then I was like, if I can just give this a few years, see what happens.
Fuck it. You want to run this in New Zealand? All 3 of us just go. We run a podcast.
I feel like we have a good banter here. We could do this.
Yeah.
I would like to drive a car, and this is an idea for a podcast. We drive a car from here to just the southern tip of South America. Just take a car.
I don't think we make it very long through Mexico.
You don't think so?
No, I think there's one road in Mexico, and the cartel runs it.
They'd be cool with us.
If we bribed them.
Yeah, I guess we just got to continue to pay them.
We just put them on the show.
Hey,
on the pod, dude.
Hey, plug your familia.
Plug your socials, yeah.
Dude.
Zeta
What's your
Cartel.
Instagram?
What's up?
Where can I find you online?
We got like 1,000 listeners on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. We got people to listen to you, Cartel guys. Come on in.
Yeah,
get in the car. Show us the way.
We want to hear your side of the story.
Yeah. I don't want to take a plane because this is the most psycho thing I'm going to ever say on air. But sometimes I like go in these conspiracy theories in my head where it's like, I don't know if anything's like really what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if like when I flew to Germany, was I really like, how do I know I was in Germany? Like, how did I know? You know, like, is that a weird thing to like question yourself on?
You're gonna take a boat now?
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. No. This is okay. How do you
did
know you're in
smoke
Germany?
a little
Like,
before you
what
got
else?
No, but it's like it's Germany, right? But like you're shown the shape of the world and stuff. I'm a flat earther.
Are you really?
No. No, but I'm saying like it's just like you ever get in those states where you just like start questioning like when you realize something is bullshit, you start thinking all things are bullshit.
Yeah.
Like structure wise, like maybe we think Europe's shaped that way because people tell us that. Like, and that's what they want us to think Europe's shaped. Like, I don't know what the reason would be for it. But like, that's why I want to like be on the land, like moving through it, not just in the sky, like turned off.
Yeah,
like
it's totally different.
I want a journey. I don't want a flight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, the older I get, the more anxious I get on flights. I don't know what it is. I've been on like a million flights, but like each flight I get worse and worse.
Just you're due for a nice water landing.
Right.
Nice mountainside.
I think I'm just starting
flight.
to come to like terms with my own mortality or something. That
Maybe,
might be part
dude. I
of
mean,
it.
we're all gonna die. That's the thing. That's super important to understand too. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk just lets us all know that you're gonna die. So don't be a pussy.
Yeah. Maybe they'll carve nice flowers into your skull when you're gone, though.
What is it? The first person to live to be 150 has already been born. I believe I'm that person. Rob Lowe.
Oh, yeah. That's Parks and Rec?
Yeah, that's
Parks and Rec. Dude, why? See, that's some bullshit. Like, they're talking about people are going to live longer. Put me out of my misery. If living to 150 is being like Nosferatu while you're doing it,
just inject me full of fucking stem cells and HGH and let me like
they gotta stop aging, not like that. Like stop the aging process before you make people.
If I could just stay,
you don't want to be like
27.
old as fuck and just like feeling old as fuck.
It's like I'm immortal now, but I can't move my hips. Like, what's the point of that?
Just inject yourself into like maybe like upgrade your memory or your mind into some type of computer.
Fuck that, dude. I'm gonna scramble my brains with a gun before I let anyone put an RFID or something in my head.
You don't become an AI?
No, dude. Fuck that noise. Like, why do I want to experience like? There's an oblivion aspect of death that I think everyone needs to go through, and they should go through. I don't think people should
super
live.
important. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
not existing is the best thing that's gonna happen.
I'm totally
There's
down.
so much cool shit in the other side. I can't.
I'm totally down to be a cyborg.
I can see you doing that. I can see you doing that. Being like you just like slowly lose consciousness and you just become a fucking full-on automated version of yourself.
I'm down.
Do you guys watch Black Mirror at all?
Yeah.
Fuck,
Big into Black
dude. I've seen them all of them. I think.
Yeah.
It's just like it's incredible. The one with the afterlife. Did you
Oh,
see that
San
one?
Junipero. Yeah, that's a good one,
Dude. It was really. I think it was all fun until they put the little circle light up things like
The boxes
in the storage
right next to each other.
I was like,
Yeah.
dude, there were so many of those. I was
Yeah.
like, well, what happens when that thing like explodes or something happens?
Yeah, dude. Well, here's the thing. Like the creepy part. When we talked about the hedonistic treadmill, they had that. Like they explored that concept in the show. These people are living forever in this mental mirage or whatever. There's this weird club on the outside of town where all
you
the
go
weird
to feel something.
Yeah, and it's like they're probably fucking each other with chainsaws or something, like nuts like that. But like they've lived forever in this computer simulation. They're gonna get bored.
Yeah, the finite nature of life is what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like you're gonna get like you really have like the middle of your life, or like you know what the fuck's going on enough. Like that's why your 30s are so badass. It's like, okay, I've been around here for a while.
You have some money.
People still want to fuck me. No, I don't have any money, but I figure it out. Everything else is cool.
Yeah.
Everything else is super lit though. Yeah, and it's like, but then you do get old, and it's like that's why I think when you're single to your 30s, you bring it all the way back around what we're talking about. Like you're so reluctant to give that up. It's like,
oh damn, did we just
came
wander
full
around
circle, dude.
from that? Was that where we start? Fuck.
Because the finite nature of life.
Yes.
It's like shit. Because you're old enough to realize that you're gonna fucking die, and then you're like, damn, I'm gonna be with this person for like the key years of my life where like things are awesome. So they have to be super fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And so if there's any super awesome girls out there, you can find me at Connor Wanders on Instagram. Slide in the DM. That's the same. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Oh no, they should. They should slide in. I agree.
No, that's
Hit up Connor, ladies. Hit
you
him
guys
up.
are both taken.
That's true.
Yeah, we can't, don't hit us up.
Dan's over here talking about having a kid.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a kid.
Hey,
I don't want you to have a kid either, dude.
No, I don't want to have to vicariously live through like little Junior
you know what's pretty funny?
in baseball.
The women in our lives have the same name.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Different spelling, but
You just realized that?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, that's the thing about kids too, man. You got to be careful with kids because they're gonna embody all the shitty parts about yourself that you don't like, and if you don't realize, if you don't recognize them before you have kids, then they're just gonna stare you in the goddamn face.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's literally what I was just talking about. It's like you inherit all your parents' shit without context, and that's mortifying to me. Like it's like, what? Why do I feel this way? Like what happened to my mom and dad?
Well, dude, you do that through any kind of connection.
Yeah.
Like like we talked about the South Florida thing. Like I've been in a relationship with someone from that world, and I was like, I feel so weird about things. I've never had these feelings before, and I'm like, just because we're super connected and through that, like energetic sharing.
Should
I
give a shit at this?
I'm like insecure about things that I've never been insecure about in my life. And that I didn't think about it is like I've dealt with my own bullshit my whole life, so it's like I know how to handle it. I don't know how to handle your shit. Like I don't know how to, this is so unfamiliar to me. It's like, yeah, you drive a car most of the time, but here you can fly this airplane. It's like, I mean, they both have motors and like they're forms of transportation, but they're not the same.
That's
I don't
like
get it.
the thing about relationships too, is people in the relationships have completely different ideas of what those relationships are.
Yeah,
like what those
100%.
mean. Yeah, it's like people have a completely different, like my view of me and my fiance's relationship is not the same as what my fiance's view of our relationship is. And no matter how much you agree on that, you have to know that it's never perfectly in sync.
No.
And that's the fun of it, and that's the hard part of it at the same exact time.
Then that's why it's so important whenever you get into something where it's like, okay, you're fighting over a thing, especially when it's very conceptual, like what it means to be like to show up, be reliable, or be compassionate. Like, okay, what do you mean by that word? That's a very important question. Like, what does that word mean to you? Because we have a totally different understanding of what that means, maybe, and we're just arguing. Now we're arguing over semantics, not actually what happened.
And dude, what like word? You're arguing over the word compassion, and it's hilarious that compassion is one word that has to sum up all of that intangible shit that goes into that one word.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, compassion. Yeah, you know what I mean. No, I have no
I don't know
fucking
what you
idea.
mean.
Like, it's one word. How is it all this shit? It's so dumb.
It's like even love is like that. It's
yeah.
like, there's so
many types of love. Like what, ethos or whatever. I don't remember.
I don't know. We can get super in the weeds there, but at the end of the day, you just gotta realize that we're all full of shit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And the people that you love are too. It's okay.
And they're gonna die.
And we're all gonna die.
Yeah. Except for Dan. He's gonna be a cyborg.
I'm gonna live forever.
Yeah, except for Dan. Dan's got it.
He's gonna be
I'm
big old
rooting for you, dude.
Yeah.
So you guys have the SuppsDawg Podcast.
Yeah.
Over at Grand X. It's a fitness podcast that nobody asked for, but you got anyways.
Yeah, it's satirical in nature for the most part. We try to like.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll offer up some advice and some serious.
Sometimes I go on keto for like 3 weeks. There'll be 3 episodes about that.
It's really that like sums up
Yeah.
pretty much our own workout regimens. Is like we continue to switch stuff where we're between bulking and cutting that we just relatively stay the same.
Yeah. We're just like yo-yo dieting and like switching programs at such a fast rate that even like our metabolisms are confused, and we're just gonna stay even keel. Like you're never gonna grow, you're never gonna shrink.
It's
you're
all about
gonna
just maintaining at the end of the day.
It's like you can go out on Saturday too, I guess. Like, like you can't feel too bad. We've been working out a lot, like at least, it's basically like it's the net zero fitness podcast. But it's really not. We have a lot going on over there. It started as like Dan and I just kind of talking
bullshitting on another podcast.
On another podcast, we'd have our own segment. And
which podcast was that?
It was the Inside TFM podcast.
Okay.
RIP.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a podcast graveyard over there too.
Yeah, we have some dead ones. That was our first podcast at Grand X. Was the Inside TFM
and
podcast.
You can't hear any of those.
No, you can't hear them. I did like 70 episodes of a podcast. You cannot.
That electric interview with Ric Flair we had.
What?
Yeah.
Why'd y'all get rid of them?
It didn't align with where the brand is, I guess.
Current strategy.
It's just one, we weren't really excited to do it anymore. Like we're not in college, so for us to talk to an like.
Dude, it's gonna be 5 years come May since we left college, which is insane.
5. Yeah, 5.
I'm getting those like time hop things on Instagram or on Facebook where it's like 9 years ago. I was at this like frat party and I'm like, God damn, that's crazy.
I think that's why people use Facebook less, is because they're like, better not post shit like this anymore. Like, what a dumb feature for Facebook to put up.
Yeah, no, that's the best part about Facebook. I'm like, wow, I need to delete that immediately.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as it pops up, memories.
I leave them up there, but
it's like 10 years ago.
I don't think I have anything that was that bad.
You threw up like a song lyric.
Yeah. Oh no. I did that.
Delete.
I was like, I leave it. I said, I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
It's funny. Oh my god, that is the dumbest lyric.
How dare you? Talk about
it means nothing, dude. I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier. Those things don't even go together.
I literally put that in my Facebook status at one point in my life, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was super cute.
Dude,
it was 10 years ago.
Killers are dope. Like I like the Killers, but it's the joke is like
no relevance.
I've got ham, but I'm not a hamster. Like it's the same concept.
See, I never understood with bands like that. So lead singer is what, Brendan Flowers? When he went solo, he wouldn't play Killer songs. And I'm like, dude, just like the Killers are you. Like you're the singer. Like everyone that plays an instrument is interchangeable. Like you can just play Killer songs. I don't know if like they own the rights to it or something, but at the end of the day, like a band is just the singer. It's not the fucking people behind it.
Yeah, it depends.
Guns N' Roses is not just Axl Rose.
Dude, it's Axl Rose.
No, it's Slash.
Yeah.
Just have a guy wear a wig.
Or even you can see
that's true.
like Blink-182 is never the same when they all
About
go.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just got all weird.
Tom's into aliens.
Yeah, that's
And-
cool.
And
He did what?
lots
Angels
of
and
other-
Airwaves too.
God,
That was
sucked.
awful.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
He has feelings though, so he needed to express them.
I think
Yeah,
that's
how dare
toxic,
you,
That's
Jake.
toxic masculinity.
What? Just me.
Angel and Airways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
that's
guys,
toxic femininity. I don't know.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah,
Let's do this thing. Let's wrap it up. Where can we
Yeah.
find you guys on social?
You can find the podcast at SuppsDawg SuppsDawg on Instagram and Twitter. And on Twitter for me, it's Dan_Regester, Regester. And Snapchat and Instagram, just Dan Regester.
I'm at Jake W Goldman across all social media.
Boom. All of them. It's just so nice when you just have the same one across them all.
It's real good.
And you guys know where to find me. So, fucking A. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Yeah.
See you
See
next
ya.
time.
Thanks for having us,
Peace.
man.
That is the show. I hope you dug it. These guys came over on a Sunday afternoon. We just kind of went for it. I love Dan and Jake. They've had me on their show SuppsDawg a few times. Go check that show out if you're into fitness and comedy. They're awesome guys. They have a lot to say, and they do a really great job. And if you love this show, as always, head over to iTunes, give it a 5-star review, and let me know what you think about it. I always appreciate those. They make my day, and I'm really grateful that people like yourself take some time to have this as a part of their day. It's really humbling, and I love seeing that response in the iTunes reviews. So head over there, make that happen if you get a little time. And if you want to get involved in the conversation, head over to Facebook and search the Realness Community, request access, and you'll get in there and hang out with some guys and girls like you, looking to live the fuck out of life, question everything, share resources, books. We do some Facebook Lives in there every week with some Q&As and just explore different things. I mean, the real underlying reason for this podcast is to create an environment for authentic self-expression, and that is exactly what that community is built around, with real life people that are doing exactly that and on the constant quest to make life as full as they can. I love that. I love that community. It's a great part of my day, jumping in there and getting to interact with everybody. So if you want to be a part of that, just search it in Facebook, request access. It is a closed group because there are some, there's some things in there, some sensitive topics in there. We share some stuff. So we keep it private, respect some privacy. But yeah, check it out. And let's see what else. Go over to onnit.com/real, get 10% off all your Onnit stuff. If you want to work with me, obviously, that's a thing. You can go over to gettherealness.com, hit lifestyle design, get a free 20-minute call, talk about how you can live the fuck out of life. That's it, guys. Enjoy the hell out of your day. I will see y'all next time. Much thank you. That's new, but I'm rolling with it. Much thank you for hanging out, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.